Hello, welcome back to Blender Sushi LIVENODING. In this episode, I'll be sharing with you this node tree setup created using Scratchchalk and Blender that creates this procedural lake. So this is very strange, and you might think, okay, this is really strange, and it's a very simple thing. However, what's the deal with this? What's so special about it? The whole thing is actually procedural, of course. However, on top of this, you will see that if I change the height or make the changes like okay, the radius doesn't change anything. However, if I change the height of the leg or the feet, everything will be pushed up. And that's the thing with the I'm using this align mesh by mesh node to keep the hierarchy basically, so everything is kind of related to one another. And so for this part of the feet, you can see also this is another example where I'm only moving just two vertices simply by using this mask input. So there's a couple of things going on here. I started with the bulbs, and then I simply align the mesh. So currently it's probably very difficult to see. Maybe I just can do it like this. Okay, I can show you the progress on how I set this up. I started actually with this box. So the box will always push and align the cylinder, right? This is the second part. So I can make changes to cylinder. I can add or increase or decrease the subdivisions, do things like that. The icosphere is actually very special. It's actually placed in between. So the node tree setup seems very convoluted. However, it should make sense. I mean, for some cases, if you want to stack objects to one another, it's a bit like Lego, right? Or if we, because I'm using Blender 2.92 alpha here, I can use this tool, add a cube, add a cylinder, things like that. Just, and we can quickly draw things like this. So based on this fact, I realized that if we think of procedural placement similar to this, maybe we can kind of make a like a system to make like a robot. Even it's really gonna be really simple robot, but if they are kind of connected properly, it's gonna be really useful for procedural creations. So if we look at an example of something like this, imagine this is something that's procedural. You can always change the shape of the cylinder and change the placement and the design, and everything will update accordingly. So let's try how I set this up. Okay, suddenly my computer becomes really slow. Hopefully it's back. Maybe I need to turn off. Turn off this, or sphere or cylinder. Normally I use box. Let's try with a cylinder. So in the mesh viewer for the output, so we're gonna have a cylinder. By default it's centered, but I'm gonna turn it off, and I'm gonna change the height. Imagine, okay, this is okay cylinder, maybe cylinder with a that's being scaled is like a flipper of duck, so that might work. Anyway, on top of this cylinder, I will have another cylinder, maybe smaller in radius, and align. Let's do alignment. Align mesh by mesh. So we're gonna move this cylinder, so something's gonna cross there. This is gonna be something that's common. You will see that. And this is the one that's already been pushed by the one below it. Okay, you don't see this yet, but I'm gonna turn off center. Okay, now you can see the bottom one will push the top one. Let me change this base and move, and then change this alignment to Z. Okay, this is correct, I think. So the maximum, save this quickly. So this means the maximum bounding box area of the first base cylinder is gonna be touching with the bottom base of this guy over here, the one that's being moved. So I can change this height, and the top one will be pushed. So we have like a kind of like a leg. So let me maybe change the radius of this guy. Maybe for the next object we can have a cylinder, another cylinder, but in a different orientations. So let's do that very quickly. Again, it's probably better if I get rid of this and work this way. So now we have this guy that's already being pushed. We're gonna use this as the base, and then we're gonna move the next cylinder. For this is gonna be the one that's connect the two. So I'm gonna rewire. So by default, cylinder axis is Z, and I want to change this to X, and then I want to center it. Okay, now it's starting to make sense, hopefully. So that radius will change. However, we can always scale and offset slightly. This guy. Oh, okay. Interesting. I was thinking to center it this way. Okay. Okay, this is what I want. So if this is the leg of the robot, we have this cylinder being aligned at its center into the cylinder below it. So we can continue with the next cylinder. the next cylinder is probably gonna be the same with this guy. However, we want to use the position of this cylinder. So now we have this leg looking like that. Okay, yeah, like I said, it's a bit strange. However, it could work, and if it's working properly, we can have the whole robot, you know. This one is gonna push everything up to the hip, and the hips you can continue up to generate the robot. So let's say we are happy with this. Maybe for the next one we can have another cylinder. So this part should be pretty easy. You should get the drill. Once you get the drill, it's almost like natural, like it's a bit like stacking your Lego. Ah, okay, we can actually have like a lamp robot. It's okay. That's okay. So we have a lot of freedom here. You can open the cap if you want. So now, anytime you make changes to the bottom part, everything will update. So this, the middle one, is special, but the height will change. I can try rotating this guy, but I have to be careful. So I am rotating angular X. So you can see it's moving slightly and it's trying to adjust itself based on its bounding box. I mean, it will be nice if this one's connected there, like a little bit like a bone armature. In this case, doesn't work like that. However, at least the height actually have connection. Same thing with this bottom part. The height of the base will always update the top one. So if we ever want to put something or anywhere on top of below the objects, we can do that. So if I want to put another cylinder, yeah, I can stack that easily, or just maybe have like a donut. So the donut's gonna move. It's gonna plug this in. So now we have donuts on top. So if you want, we can change the height. Everything's gonna adjust its position accordingly. So it's good for stacking. Sometimes, but after you stack a lot, you started, maybe you want to add the left, something that goes to the left or to the right or to the front of this. So yeah, if I want to put another object, so this is another donut. Maybe we don't want the donut, we just want to have box. We can do that easy, no problem. The box is of course special because you can always go in x-axis like this. So you can For the next one, maybe we can try to put another box on the left or on the side. I'm gonna copy this, duplicate, and this box is gonna put the other box not on top. Well, it's nice to have this box on the top. However, I want to put it on the side. We simply change this to X axis. Okay. Now I can see a little bit of problem, maybe because it's aligning the thing in the x-axis, but I need to move the box also. I need to move it up. So at least now if I scale this part, I can get this box to also move with it. So that's definitely something to consider. However, with this stack of objects, if you're happy with this, you can just Command J. You can always mirror it, and you can then turn on bisect and then flip it, and then you can use remesh, and you should have a complete object. More or less, this is the plan, Probably not. It's not working so well with the torus, but you get the idea. You can just remesh the whole thing, and everything will update accordingly if I make any changes to the size, etc. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I think I didn't save. I shouldn't join the object. Just keep it like this, and I save. So if I ever gonna change the size of the torus, scale, everything will update. I need to figure out a way to to link these two together, for example, because currently they're not related somehow. Stacking object is easy, but if you have objects that move to the left or to the right, then it's you need to add that into considerations. Other than that, this is quite an interesting setup, I think. So that's why I want to share it with you. Alright, so thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.